This segment is strictly stretch. So you can use this as many times as you'd like during the day, or after whatever series you've chosen to do, or mini series, whatever, you can do this. All right, so we're just gonna be stretching mainly legs. So we're gonna start in this nice seated position, legs out in front. I have a strap, which is the canvas strap that we have, the yoga strap, which is very stiff, right? There's no give to it. So I'm gonna be using the strap. Patty's gonna be using a band. If you have a band at home, go ahead and use it. If you don't, just grab a belt, something. That's all you need, all right? So we're gonna start with the strap around the bottom of the left foot. We're gonna sit nice and tall. We're gonna elongate that spine, drop those shoulders, and as you exhale, we're gonna take a roll down to the mat. So slowly roll it down, nice and slow, bringing the head to the mat and the leg up to the ceiling. We're going to take that opposite leg and go ahead and bend it. So when you're in this position, I want you to have that pelvis flat down on the mat, allowing that leg to lift, right? If the strap, I'm going to be moving my hands up and down the strap because it's not going to give. Patty, she has the band, so she can actually keep her elbows down if she'd like onto the mat. So we're going to start here with just a hamstring stretch and a point and flex. So keeping the pelvis down, we're going to flex that ankle, reaching that heel up to the ceiling. And then we're going to point up through the ball of the foot. And again, reach that heel and then point that toe. And we want to point through the ball of the foot, not the toes, right? So we're pressing the ball of the foot up through the band and getting that nice big range of motion through the ankle. So let's just do 2 and 1. Come to your neutral ankle. Right? From here, set that pelvis, make sure that it's on the mat, and let's just lower and lift that leg. So we're going to lower it down. Keeping the pelvis on the mat, we lift it up until we find that hamstring stretch. Again, we lower it down and up. So try here not to get into the back of the neck. Think about lengthening through the back of the neck. Keeping the chin slightly down, not pointed up to the ceiling. Let's do 3 and 2. And on the last one, we're going to hold. So we're going to bring that leg up. We're going to hold this position. And we're just going to feel the back of that leg stretch. So I want you, while you're here holding, to just gently flex through that ankle. And then I want you to think about your pelvic bone, and I want you to send it towards your foot that's on the floor. Really feeling that stretch kind of intensify through the back of that leg. If you want more, go into a deeper flexion. And then from here, releasing the flexion a little bit, releasing a little bit of that stretch, we're going to lengthen our opposing leg. So we're going to lengthen that opposing leg out. We're going to turn the leg that's in the strap to internal. Make sure, right? Let's come back to parallel. Let's make sure that that internal rotation is coming from the upper leg. So internally rotate, hold it there. Let that leg fall gently across the midline of the body until you feel that stretch. Everybody's different here. So you can tell Patty has a lot longer IT band than I do.
I'm pushing my opposite of my hip down.
Yes, you want to keep, exactly. You want to keep that pelvis nice and stable. Let's bring it back up. Let's bring it back to parallel. We're going to do that stretch one more time. So let's turn to internal. Let's let that leg fall across that midline. Feel that stretch come in all the way down the leg. And then we're going to bring that back up. We're going to go ahead and bend that other leg. From here, we're going to turn to external, and we're going to go ahead and open that leg out. You can let that opposite leg open at the same time. We want to keep the pelvis even here and flat. So from this external position, we're just going to lift it straight back up to the ceiling. We're going to let that leg open out again, and then we're going to bring it back up. And open. And how you How far you open is completely up to you, but I want you to be able to check in, make sure your neck is staying long, your chin is not poking to the ceiling, and make sure that your pelvis is long. Your pelvic bone is always reaching towards that foot that's on the floor. Let's open that leg, let's hold it there. So flex that ankle a little bit more. As you flex the ankle, keep the pressure through the ball of the foot, almost like you're reaching through your big toe. And from there, you can lift that leg a little higher. Getting that nice stretch through the inner leg. Make sure that you're stabilizing through the opposing side of the body, right? So the opposite side of the body is down, it's on the mat, it's not lifted. So we're gonna go ahead and sweep this down through a circle. So we're gonna sweep it down, bring it back up to the ceiling, open it back out, sweep it around. So we're just letting that leg circle through that hip socket. Don't let the pelvis come with you on the movement. So remember, we're anchoring our pelvis down to the mat. Just letting that leg circumvent through that hip socket. We're going to reverse that. So down. So we're going to bring it out and up to that stretch, and then we're going to bring it all the way up to the ceiling. So down, open, out to the stretch, and then bring it up to the stretch. Try to keep that pelvis anchored to the mat. And let's do 3. And 2. And last one. All the way up, we're gonna hold, we're gonna go back to a parallel stretch. Flexing that ankle a little bit. We're gonna find that nice hamstring stretch again. Reach the pelvis long. Slowly take that leg all the way down to the mat. Lengthen the other leg as well. And from here, we're gonna roll up. So we're gonna bring ourselves all the way back up to our seated position. We're gonna kind of reorganize our body. We're gonna get that strap onto the other foot. And we're gonna start again. So let's go ahead and zip up. Elongate that spine, let those shoulders come down. And let's take it to a roll down. So curl back. Nice and slow. Once we get our head down, the leg lifts up. The other leg comes to a bent position. So from here, let's kind of reorganize, make sure that we have our pelvis down. Leg is up until we feel that little stretch. Not a lot, just a little. And we're gonna go to a point flex. So we're gonna point up through that ball of the foot, and then we're gonna flex that ankle down. And up, and down. So just that nice big range of motion. And look at your foot, right? You shouldn't see that you're twisting to the ankle. You should see that the ankle is staying nice and straight, both on the extension and the flexion. And down. Let's do 3. And 2. And 1. Bring it back to your neutral foot. Hold here. Find that little stretch from that hamstring. And then from here, we're going to lower that leg down. And lift that leg back up, finding the stretch, the hamstring. Lower down, and lift. And down, and lift. And just really feel that nice little stretch, but pay attention to your chin. Make sure it's not poking up to the ceiling. Pay attention to your pelvis. Make sure it's staying anchored down. Let's do 2. And 1 more, and this one let's hold as we come up. So from here, we're just gonna hold that hamstring stretch, go a little bit into a flexion through the ankle. Feel your pelvic bone lengthening towards the foot that's on the floor. And then just feel that leg stretching through the back of the leg. Nice hamstring stretch. Keep the pelvis lengthening. And just a couple breaths. And then come back to your neutral foot. Release the stretch just a little, but keep this position. You're gonna take your left leg, elongate it onto the floor. We're gonna turn. Remember, from your upper leg, you're gonna rotate that leg internal, and then you're gonna let it gently cross the midline of that body. And we're just gonna hold. And you can tell, I don't know if you can tell, but my leg doesn't want to rotate very much to internal. So this side, my right side, is always my difficult side. And getting the rotation is always a little bit more challenging, but I can definitely feel this stretch. It's a tough one for me. We're gonna bring it back up to the ceiling, come back to parallel, and then go back to your internal and let it fall to the side again. And I can always, on the second one of these stretches, that's where I really start to feel that up through my hip in that IT band, because I've already stretched it out a little bit. So the second stretch makes a big difference for me.
I like to keep my hand on my hip
And
press it away.
yeah, and press it away.
As I draw that leg in a little deeper.
Let's bring that leg up to the ceiling. Let's pause, bend that other leg. And then let's turn that leg now to an external position, right? And let's let that leg fall open to the side. So we're getting that nice inner leg stretch. We can let that opposing leg open in the opposite direction so that we keep our pelvis flat. And then let's lift that leg back to the ceiling. Let's open it back out and up. Keep that external position. And now think about those cross connections. So as that leg is opening, we are pulling our energy to the opposing side of the body, keeping it stable. So let's go ahead and open and hold. So open it out, hold. A little reach through the heel, but keep the pressure through the ball of the foot, especially through that big ball of the foot area. And then if you need more of a stretch, you can pull that leg up a little bit more to really get into that inner leg. And we're going to take it into those circles. So we're going to sweep that leg down. We're going to bring it back up to the ceiling and open it back out. And around and up. So pay attention to your anchor points, right? You're keeping that pelvis down and anchored. You're just letting that leg circle through that hip socket. Let's do 3, 2, and 1. Let's reverse that down, open it out to the stretch, bring it back up, out to the stretch, bring it up. Nice big circles. Try to get that circle without the pelvis coming with the movement. Let's do 2. And 1, bring it up, grab each side, slowly lower. Oh, let's do that stretch again, that hamstring stretch. So little flexion, come into that hamstring stretch, take the pelvis, lengthen it. Feel that stretch come into the back of the leg. Lower that leg nice and slowly down to the mat. Take the other leg alongside of it. And then as we curl up, come back to your nice, straight, seated position.